Well, we're back in the Smokies again. Now we're outside of Cades Cove and we're in Tremont, one of my favorite places. What we have here is a wonderful one-lane bridge that overlooks a massive stream. And we're going to photograph it, but I want to show you something that I've been asked 1,000 times about. I'd like to teach you how to make a photograph of a stream so that the water flows instead of is frozen. And it's very simple. Put the camera on a tripod, put on whatever lens you need to take in the angle of view that you like, then set the f-stop on the camera to as low as you can go. In my case, it's f22 on this 17 to 35 millimeter lens. And then in aperture priority, it will set the lowest possible shutter speed, the slowest. I've also got a polarizer on to take reflection off of the water. And then we're going to use our handy dandy remote again. And we're just going to shoot off a few photographs of the stream. My good friend Adam with the other video cameras down on the rock down there. You'll see him in the frame. But I'm making several photographs at a slow shutter speed. In this case, it's about 1.5 seconds. I'd like longer, but that'll work. Now, I'm going to take my gloves off and I'm going to reset the camera to a fast shutter speed so we can see the difference. So let's go to f2.8 and let's crank our ISO. Up to 1,000. Now we're getting f2.8 at a 500th of a second. And when you look at the resulting photograph, you'll see a big difference. This is water frozen in place, where before we let it flow with a longer shutter speed. And that's how you make those flowing water photographs. And this is a place to do it. You need to come back here in the spring as well, when the really beautiful spring foliage is out, or in the fall when the fall foliage is out. But the water's here all the time. Well, this is something that you won't see in the summertime here. You've got icicles hanging all over the rocks where water's been coming down through the woods and dripping, freezing overnight. Some really spectacular icicles. You got to be real careful. In fact, I just went over a minute ago and took a real wide angle lens and stood right under them, which is not probably very advisable, and made some shots, real extreme angles. Now I'm going to take a telephoto lens and go in and do some real tight work. I'm going to share all these images with you, but I think it's a kind of a cool place to shoot. So I'm going to walk over and get some shots, and we'll see how they turn out. There's tons of great shots in here, but one thing I really like, right where we are, is where the grass that's coming down is actually frozen inside the icicle. So I'm going to shoot a real tight close-up showing that. Get a little more of it in there. Now, another thing that happens, it's not warm at all out here today, but some of these icicles are still barely melting or a little water's dripping down. And a really cool shot is the water droplet hanging at the end of an icicle. And it doesn't have to be a huge icicle. In fact, I'm looking right now at a place where there are some droplets hanging right at the end of a little icicle here. That was a little bit too close. That was within my minimum focus distance. Still is. So I'll come back one more step. Ah, there you go. Now that's kind of a cool shot because the background is black and the very white nature of the ice, and then the little droplets are just hanging. I better shoot them before those droplets go away. That's really kind of cool. Oh yeah, I love that. So many things that you can do and so much stuff that can be shot here. Cars are coming past. We're trying not to get hit, but lots and lots of really unusual formations. You could spend an entire day walking up and down this part of the road and looking at some of this stuff.